In this conversation, Martha shares how her background in sales and marketing shaped the way she approaches real estate today, why every transaction comes down to relationships and trust, and one of the highlights of the episode, her conversation with me about the Texas Realtors Leadership Program, where we both reflect on how leadership, mentorship, and collaboration have shaped our careers in the industry. Today, we talk about why every transaction is different, the power of mentorship and collaboration, and how showing up for yourself is sometimes the key to showing up better for everyone else. Today, I'm very excited to have with us Martha Cox, and Martha is going to join us today and talk about her journey in real estate and kind of where she's at and what her future thoughts are for real estate too. Martha, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's jump right in. Tell us a little bit about what brought you into real estate. Was there a career prior to real estate, or have you always done this?
Sure. Well, the catalyst for me getting into real estate was actually my mother. She is also my broker. I do have my broker's license as well, but she has been a realtor for a very long time, for about 30 years. Prior to me getting into real estate, I produced trade shows for the building industry. And then I also published coffee table books for architects and interior designers. So I have been around real estate in some form or fashion for a long time.
And then I would think with some of that, especially the trade show, marketing is something you're used to doing too, and probably played really well to transition over into marketing from a real estate standpoint.
Yes, I've always been in sales and marketing. All of my jobs have always been sales, and my degree is in marketing. Although that's a very long time ago I got the degree. All the rules have changed.
Rules and all the tools.
Yeah,
That's what's been surprising to me over the years is, like you said, no matter what your degree was in, if it was 10, 15, 20 years ago, things probably have
30.
changed because technology has changed so much.
Yes, yes, it has changed quite a bit.
So then how long have you been licensed? How long have you been focused in real estate? And did you start full time immediately or did you kind of have to transition into real estate?
Sure, I started full time immediately. I think I'm on 6 or 7 years, somewhere
Great.
around there. I need to look and see what the exact one is. Yeah, I think it was maybe a year or two ago, I also got my broker's license.
Okay.
We were with the same brokerage for quite a while. And about 3 years ago, we decided to start up our own boutique brokerage.
Good, good.
Mhm.
Thinking back when you first got your license and while it's very handy for you to be able to have your broker, your mom there to be able to guide you along the way. So a little piece of me is jealous about that because that I'm sure was very helpful. What was it? Was there something along the way that you were like, "Ooh, this is different than I expected it to be?"
Sure. It really frustrated me in the beginning because I wanted an answer for everything. And I would ask her and everybody else, okay, so tell me how this works. If this happens, then this happens, then this happens. And I always got the same answer for every single question I would ask. She always said, it depends. And that frustrated me to no ends because in other jobs, there's processes, procedures. I mean, there are processes and procedures, but because you're dealing with a unique product every single time and unique personalities are involved, it just always depends. And so I have learned to lean into that. And it's something that once you recognize, it really makes you a better real estate agent for your clients.
I'm glad you said that because my agents probably get tired of me saying, well, every transaction is a little bit
Yeah.
different. That's what I say. But
Every
it's
transaction's
true.
different.
It is true because just like
Mhm.
you said, every product is unique. We're not selling the same product over and over and over. It's houses. They're all different. They all even new construction, they all come
Yes.
with a little bit different unique properties, qualities about that particular property. And then, of course, we're dealing with the emotions of a buyer and a seller and what they want and need out of that transaction, too. So it's every transaction is a little bit different.
They're all very different.
So, was there one story, good or bad, that kind of stands out to you that you really had to maybe muddle your way through?
You know, I don't know if I've actually muddled through any transaction because I have had such an incredible mentor. And something that I really believe in is our community of agents. It can feel very solitary. Even I was with the large brokerage. It can feel very solitary. I think it's very important to form relationships with other agents. For example, I'm in this year's Texas Realtors Leadership Program with Metro Tex. And so that's
Awesome. I did that about 10 years
Okay,
ago.
so yes, okay.
Yes,
So you understand then, and that's something I've always craved, and I've always either been part of masterminds, whether they're national or statewide. And it's so helpful because if you do get through to a situation where you might muddle through, you have everyone to lean on. I remember when I had a transact, because like solar panels, those are not they are becoming more common.
they
But
are.
I remember when I first started, they were not very common, and I got a listing with solar panels. And I remember calling about 20 of the highest producer agents to get their feedback on it. Half of them told me they would never even touch a listing with solar panels. I learned so much through that. And then another thing that I really learned is when I first started getting clients, what was really shocking to me is I had so many say, Martha, nobody's ever told me that before. Nobody's ever done that for me before. And these are people that had a lot of experience in real estate. They'd bought, they'd sold, they'd invested. So that spurred me on so I wrote 3 books. I wrote, and I don't publish them because I keep them only for my clients. One is
Okay.
how to buy a house, one is how to sell a house, and one is how to stage a house. And they're Texas specific too. But anyway, I did that because I didn't want to ever have an uneducated client. I wanted
Mhm,
to empower them with education. And I also didn't want to be the kind of realtor that tells people what to do. I want to guide them to the conclusion so that they can see all the evidence or the information for what they're doing so they feel confident.
mhm.
So I want to be their confidence booster to guide them along the way.
It's funny you just said confidence because I was thinking that you're letting them build the confidence so that they, in a way, they own that decision and feel like they have been very much a part of the process and the decision. Ultimately, it is their money. So it is their decision and you're helping to guide them to come to the best solution.
Right. And not everything is black and white. And like I said before, it depends. And so sometimes there's circumstances. I mean, even when it's pricing a house, like it's not an art, it's not a science. And, it could be a range, it could be a lot of things. And so it's something that we do mutually together. I don't just
Mhm,
go and say, this is what it is. We
mhm.
discuss it.
Always done that with listings too. You really do the seller has to have a piece in it. Now that doesn't mean that they
Yeah.
can say, "Oh, but my house is so much better than all the houses on the street, and
Right.
so I need to price $200,000 more." It doesn't mean that. It means you're giving them the information, the data to help come to the best price that they're comfortable with too.
Yes. Yeah, and sometimes it takes me a long time, and I have to tell them, like, this isn't something that I look at the MLS like this is what I tell people all the time. There is seen data and there is unseen data. So, for
Mhm,
example, we have all the seen data in the MLS. I mean, I can go through picture by picture and look and see if that has new windows, but there's all this unseen data when I get on the phone with other agents that have listed in the area to know, okay, well, did that house appraise? Well, tell me about this. Why were the pictures taken down? Like, it's quite a big research project, and I don't think that people know that we go much deeper than just data on paper. That makes me feel really good that AI probably can't take over our job in that regard.
I agree. Yes. We are still the people holding it all together.
Yes, for sure.
Along the way, has there been something that you have learned that you feel, gosh, I wish every new agent or even every experienced agent knew this?
Oh my goodness. When you get your license, it doesn't train you to do real estate. And as you can probably tell from, I'm a huge proponent of education. So I mean, even like this podcast right here, I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube. I go to a lot of CE continuing education courses weekly. I don't put them on my track. I just go to them. I think that if you are constantly seeking out education and you are constantly surrounding yourself by other people in the industry, that you will be a better agent for your clients because you can actually be very dangerous with just one missed piece of information.
Mhm.
So keeping up to date on just keeping in conversations with everyone about it, it is beneficial for you.
That leads me to a question that I've never had a guest on that I get to ask this about. But
Okay.
since you're currently in the Texas Realtors Leadership Program,
Yes.
let's chat about that a bit because, as I mentioned, I did that several years ago with also with MetroTex.
Okay.
And that program is so amazing for what
Mhm.
it does for the agent from a leadership standpoint, from a really getting out in the community. We did things during my year that I've lived in Dallas for many, many years. We're actually at multiple decades now, but many years. And I visited things in Dallas that I didn't even know existed. And I loved the program and what it brought to me, for the others around me, for the people that were also taking it in my class at the same time. Just all the different topics are fabulous, but it's something that takes commitment. And I don't even know if it's still the same, but it was a full, very long day frequently, at least once a month that you're spending
Yes.
doing that. So tell us a little bit about that program and what you're doing this year.
Sure. So we just started. We had our retreat and then we had spokesperson training, which was very interesting. We were put on the spot and given techniques for how to deal with media outlets, not like yourself, but like media that might be approaching us about different issues and trying to be put on the spot. So that was really interesting. It's opened my eyes to the impact that realtors can have in governmental affairs, which I
Yes.
think is very important. And so that might be a path that I want to go through. But I have joined several networking groups since then. I've always been really big on volunteering in the community, but I've never thought about what I could do as a realtor to help other people in a volunteer capacity. How did you use that when you were in it to volunteer?
So after, and I had already been on a couple of different committees, state, local, national before, but it taught me better about what do I want and what do I want out of it. And for me, it's what can I gain that I can bring back to my agents to make my agents better, to make my brokerage better. So mine had multiple layers of my why, but it was great. Like you said, the government affairs, you learn a little bit more about that. You learn about community service. But I was able to, after that, then go on, you know, I've always, or not always, but nearly always, all but 2 years of my career in real estate, I've been a broker, had agents that have held their licenses with me, but it helped me to be able to kind of better define my path that was good for me, that was good for my agents, that was good for my brokerage, but then also to be able to look at where I wanted to give back. And so for me, the give back has always been within our real estate industry. So I chose several state committees I wanted to be on. I was on the board of directors for MetroTax. I started doing things like that to where it's a big time commitment, just like the year you're doing right now, but it's a big time commitment, but that you feel like, no, this is something I can do. It's something I'm passionate about. It's something I can help others by doing.
Yes. So my mother's been on the MLS user committee for as long as I can remember.
Mhm.
What I am finding out since the last few years of starting a small boutique brokerage is that small brokers don't have as much of a voice as large brokers have. And so this past week, I was speaking with everyone. It was actually up there yesterday, talking to them about some groups that we're going to put together for brokerages. It's not going to necessarily be just for small brokerage, but for brokerages to get together and communicate. I would like to have something where we even have, anonymous case studies submitted, and then we have a panel talking about like how they would handle that. I think there's a lot of opportunity for realtors to help other realtors.
Mhm.
And then when you do that, in the end, it helps our clients, it helps our communities.
Mhm. I think so too. So I applaud you for doing that because I do know the commitment that you've made to do that this year.
Yeah,
It's a
I met
big
great
one.
people, great people.
It is. You will come out of that year feeling like you've got a lot of new brothers and sisters in your classmates and that too. It's a great year.
Yes, we're on one continuous talking WhatsApp.
Yes. I don't know that WhatsApp was even around yet when we did our
When we
year.
did it.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a big commitment, but it's a lot of fun.
Sure, yeah.
So, one of the things I always like to ask our guests too is what is the one thing that you always must show up for, whether it be personal or professional? What's the one thing that just has to get done and that you need to show up for?
So, this is interesting that you asked this. A lot of this has to do with my personal health. My grandfather had this expression. I'm 51, about to be 52. And he had this expression that we spend the first 50 years of our life trying to kill ourselves and the next 50 years trying to stay alive. And so that is so
I'm in
true.
that over 50 decades, so
Right,
I
right.
understand exactly what you're saying.
So this has nothing to do with real estate, but I have learned that I have, as working women and as mothers and all of that, we tend to neglect ourselves. And so actually back in September, I made a commitment to myself. And so I have been showing up to exercise, eat right. I mean, I've monitored every single biometric you possibly can. So that's what I've been doing. And I think that that makes me, if I show up for myself, I'm able to show up for others. It's like put the oxygen on yourself first.
So you mentioned that one too, and it's funny because, we've heard that for years. We get on an airplane and the flight attendant will tell us, be sure and put oxygen mask on yourself. If there's a problem, hopefully there never is, but oxygen mask on yourself first so you can help others. And I don't think that ever really stuck with me until I started thinking about it, just like you mentioned, where you start to think, wait a second, I can be better for others if I am making sure I am first good for me.
Right.
And yes,
It's so easy to lose track of.
it is. Or put things off, put things off and go, oh, I'm just really busy this today or this week. And we neglect ourselves as I sit here and didn't eat lunch today. So I'll
It
take your
happens
advice.
sometimes. It happens.
It does.
And then another thing that has been, I don't know if this ties into that question, but another really important thing that I did is I became paperless years ago. And so I don't let things pile up. If an email comes in, I handle it right away. I have a document that needs to be attached to the CRM and the the transaction management. I don't delay. I have a rule that if something can be handled in 5 minutes, it has to be handled right away.
Good. That's a good
Mhm.
rule to follow.
Yes.
And it helps you at the end of the day, I'm sure too, as you're
Yeah.
looking at things and going, what do I leave for tomorrow? And what
Right.
do I go ahead and close the book on so I can move on and go home for the night?
That's true.
Is there any advice that you would give to someone who's thinking about getting into the real estate business
Mhm.
or maybe a new licensee? Is there something that you would say, hey, this is what you need to learn that isn't necessarily in the books, isn't necessarily in the classes, but this is something that you need to know about?
Sure. I would tell them from the very beginning, I decided on a CRM that wasn't tied to my brokerage because I always wanted control of my data and I always wanted it. And so I was very fortunate that my sphere of influence, my database was already very much fleshed out and I had updated information for a significant number of people. But I would say immediately start working on that so that you could make sure that you have a way to reach out to everyone
Mhm,
and then some people will tell you to get on a team. Like a large team. I haven't had experience with that, but I can see how that would be really beneficial. I
mhm,
think what's important is that you have a mentor or you're in some kind of group where you can bounce ideas off of. Because even if you're at a brokerage, if you're a large brokerage or a small brokerage, not everybody goes into the office every day and everybody's busy with their own kind of lives. So I think it's really important if you have a partner in crime to bounce these things off of and learn from. Just, even if you're just talking about transactions. Like I have a best friend that's a realtor in Arizona and
mhm.
we're able to, discuss like how would you do this and like, well, let me send you that. I'm going to rewrite that for you. It's just a very collaborative, mutually beneficial friendship.
I think collaboration is the word right there. Yes. And with someone in Arizona, that helps because of course you have different rules, different forms,
Yeah.
different things, but the way we help clients is still very, very similar from state to state.
Yeah. Yeah. So even if it's, I mean, if it's someone in state, but I mean,
Mhm.
like I have several realtors that I talk to multiple times a day, and we've built friendships over it. And we've been able to help each other through some sticky situations.
Some little rocky stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
Is
It
there a
happens.
rocky story you would want to share?
Oh gosh. I mean, I don't know if Rocky, like they've all come through. I mean, we just had a
And see, that's
contract.
the celebration too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I've always felt that, closing day is a celebration. And for some, it's just the closing of a book or a chapter in their lives and so maybe it's not a huge celebration, but it's still a success to get there. And yet sometimes you have those transactions that are a little harder that things come your way or things pop up that no one expected and we hold their hands to get through that and then we're still happy that we got to closing and got it done.
Yes. Yes. Even if it takes a while and you're competing with new bills.
Yes, those.
That's good. Right.
Well, this has been a lot of fun today. Is there anything you would like to leave our guests with as kind of a few final words?
I just think it's really important. to lead with integrity and to have your client's best interest in mind. And there have been so many times that by leading with integrity, it's caused more work for me or, not made my income be less. Like, what I'm telling people not to sell their house. There's that. I think it's important to lead with integrity because that matters so much more than just a single transaction. It just to treat people how you want to be treated. And when people can see who you are and they know that you're going to work hard for them. That is really important. Just be good to people.
It is. It is. And then those are also the people, even if you told them now is not the right time to sell their house, you prove your level of integrity to them. And so they will keep your number. They will call you when it is the right time.
Sure.
And they will definitely refer you. They are friends and family too. And I love being able to build business that way. So I like that positive network that you do build because of integrity.
Yeah,
Love that. Well, Martha, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a lot of fun talking with you, and hopefully we'll have an opportunity to chat again soon.
sure. Thanks for the great questions.
This episode has been sponsored by HomeSmart Stars. Agents, do you feel unseen, unheard? Maybe wish you had better commission? Maybe wish that you were welcomed and encouraged to just show up as you are and be your true authentic self and have all the training and support and tools to help you thrive in your real estate career? If so, then you need to reach out to HomeSmart Stars and make HomeSmart Stars your home for real estate.